scale. That's kind of a classic way for EGM to play.
Yeah.
Could also be something S4 takes towards the mid lane. It could even be a Bulldog, or sorry, not a Bulldog, a Loda hero potentially in the safe lane.
Yeah.
You just don't know with the Alliance. Like, off-lane Void is generally the way you would expect this to go, but I think safe lane Void is viable.
It's again,
Loda could run.
It's an open-ended draft, which we've touched on a lot in the cast that we've had so far here at TI6, and I do like Oracle with Mirana because I think Fortune Zed is a very good, it's not the best combo for an arrow, but it's very solid. Reiki was a hero that I somehow completely forgot about when I was thinking of a roaming hero that provided damage.
I mean, how could we forget about it, Mom? We can't see it because the player can, but literally Crit's player icon is
Ricky,
the old shadow or stealth assassin from Dota 1.
Yeah. That's true.
The hero has been, he's kind of randomly waxed and waned in popularity, right? Where like, there was that period where Bounty Hunter was the go-to roaming support, then he got nerfed a lot, then everyone started picking Riki. Riki was first ban material every game, then he's been ignored in a lot of games, but the games where he gets picked tends to have a big impact.
Yeah.
It suits OG because they love to run crit on a roamer. It's almost always him on a roaming support, whether he's roaming on Io, whether he's on Earthspirit, even as Elder Titan, he actually roams quite a bit.
Yeah.
He does focus a little more on levels.
Oh, this is like the exact draft they had against that Wings lineup in the first game of the Summit Grand Finals.
So this is what we mentioned was quite likely. The Medusa Drow combo.
Yep.
Medusa, who really does lack for damage early on, but benefits hugely from it because of her split shot. Now has it from the Drow Ranger. It's a tanky frontliner. It's also a way to counter Chronosphere. If you get Stone Gaze off when the Chrono comes out, good luck killing anyone.
Yeah, you have to turn around and just run at that point. The Chronosphere is wasted if the Stone Gaze is able to be cast before the Chronosphere comes in. So Medusa is a fantastic pickup. I think they have maybe some small lockdown issues right now with only Lasso, and Ricky's kind of slow from Smokescreen, and even that's not particularly good. So you have Drow Ranger Arrow slow, but killing a Faceless Void, you kind of have to get the Smokescreen down and hope you can disable, which is one thing they're really missing. Whereas Alliance, you have Arrow, you have Fortune's End, you have a Bash from Time Lock, and then you of course have the Fire Blast from Ogre, who is now rising in popularity. It feels like Ogre came out of left field and is now being picked in every game. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, he was, first stage pick both games in the LGD OG series, and these are two of the stronger looking teams in the group right now.
Yeah.
So not as much of a priority pick, but it fits the current patch, which seems to be having at least one hero that, if he's not actively looking for kill, he's aggressively roaming and trying to secure the laning stage advantage.
It's like that beginning mid lane, you go in, you throw an Ignite out, you hit the person with your maybe overvenom.
You club them for a bit.
Yep.
Somewhere in the distance of baby seal whippers, and then you go back to your lane.
And then the Ogre's like, all right, we're done. Time to go home. Time to go and back to the lane and maybe find kills elsewhere. But yeah, I mean, Ogre is just, it's been the Bloodlust also is a good, like you talked about last game, is a very good buff. It's one of the best buffs late game to have with the, the agility type of carries. Pump out that damage. It's actually pretty good with Faceless Void too.
Anyone who has an on-attack proc chance, whether it's a bash or crit, just those are the heroes that really benefit from Bloodlust. Also, melee heroes, especially who need that extra bit of mobility to chase and get auto attacks in. That said, Alliance, despite having Mirana Void, I feel like they're going to struggle in 5v5 engagements now. OG just have so much like zoning and control from the Drow Silence, the Riki Cloud, and the Stone Gaze cast bouncing around. It's kind of tough to run it on this lineup. One more pick to go here, so I'm thinking it's probably a Bulldog Void.
That makes the most
Probably.
sense.
The one thing I think Alliance is lacking is the ability to take objectives here. So if you wanted a Bulldog here, like I think Beastmaster comes to mind. Necrobook is great against Medusa. The Mana Burn really helping you to chew through her Mana Shield as quickly as possible. Also would allow them to take towers, which they're not very good at right now, and would let them take Roche. Gives you some reliable lockdown, as well as the Hawk to Scout Batrider. I actually think if they feel they can get away with the safe lane Void, then Beastmaster is the best pick. But can they get away with the safe lane Void is the question. You're up against the Batrider with the Drow Aura. Oracle is a pretty strong zoning support. Mirana should do okay in the mid lane, but may need a little help from the Ogre. If you leave her alone against Gadusa with Riki roaming in, she may not die, but she's going to lose her lane pretty badly. So I still think the big thing for Lions, they have to be able to take objectives, and right now they're not very good at
I
it.
mean, there's so many options here. I think, again, the draft is so open-ended. It's 5 seconds left, and it's going to be the Terror Blade, so it's the offlane facing this boy for Bulldog. And
there's a hero that can take objectives.
Yes, that is something we did forget. The Terror Blade is one of the best objective takers in the game, let alone one of the best agi carries. Of course, he was nerfed a fair bit in the last patch, but people thought he's still going to be strong and he's still going to be pickable. I've talked to everybody at that Summit House, and that's exactly what they said. I mean, even with all those changes, Metamorphosis is no longer persisting through ages and through death. He is still very good, not to mention all the other changes that were made. OG will take a second to pick their heroes, it looks like, and they'll finally get things going.
Crit takes a moment to carefully slick his hair back into place. Game face is on for Alliance. Game 1 of this 2-game series set to begin right here, right now, as we enter our second heat on day 1 of group stage play for the International 2016. Heat number 1 already blew me away. Like, that alone would make for 99% of the year. That's like, man, I love Dota. I feel like that was only the appetizer. We're getting closer to the main course, but we're not there yet.
I certainly hope so, because that was some of the best Dota, and the Execration E-Home series was no slouch either, that we saw earlier yesterday as well. We got the predictions, LD, it's time. It's we've been 50-50, I think, on these for the most part, so...
Well, as you work on your predictions, Mott, we'll introduce the players here. You can see No Town Crit entering the field of battle. It will be a safe lane Medusa for OG. And Fly going to be handling that Witch Doctor. So some cool combos here for the OG squad. You have the Death Ward in the Mystic Stake, but wow, they were ready for this. Hey, little Riki, and the arrow connects. Alliance, quick, decisive first blood.
That's a great Sentry Ward placement. It covers just about every little area. As soon as he walks up, they put another one down and they just pop the Metamorphosis. They get first blood. It's just that easy.
The reason why you don't normally see teams do that is if the Riki doesn't make that move into your jungle and you drop that sentry, you now are going to lose the D-Ward battle mid, which means Riki is going to crush you, but instead of Lion, and they find a second arrow, a second kill. Never ever enter this side of the match, say Alliance. We'll take Moon down. They now lead 2-0. Can OG get a bounty room? That's the question.
I think they'll get bottom, but that was actually ridiculous. Moon's probably thinking that shouldn't have hit me. Bulldog will walk up, does not get the bounty. He'll have to time walk away and avoid all of that damage, but Bulldog is going to be down in that bottom lane. He wasn't a part of those 2 kills. S4 hitting 2 arrows, both very close for just barely missing.
And set up there by EGM on the lumbering oaf of an ogre. But we'll see a quick recap here. Again, this is a very risky move, even just dropping the first sentry, because, again, you're going to lose the D-warding battle, assuming OG commits 2 sentries on the mid lane, and then Riki just does whatever he wants, or your supports have delayed boots, have delayed ability to roam, which hurts a hero like Ogre quite a bit, so it is a gamble. It's not like, oh, stupid Riki. Normally teams don't do that for exactly that reason, but
still a good
it pays off here.
I mean, I think they can still pick up more sentries later on down the road. It's just annoying to have to place them down. They still have the one mid, but it's kind of over to the left side, so he can still roam around from the right and see if he can find any sort of initiation from that point. But it's actually
gonna call it Miracle in the mid lane. Might be in trouble trying to catch out the Drought Ranger, and they got him.
The arrow fire blast combination is too much. I mean, if you don't see EGM coming in and you don't get out in time, you're just dead. And it's a very easily ganked hero. I mean, it's a Drought Ranger, for God's sakes. Meanwhile, bottom lane Bulldog is taking plenty of right click damage. Don't be able to bring him down. No smoke screen. He also had no time walk for about 10 seconds, but he's able to salve up now. And Moon going onto Loda with 2 sticky napalm stacks. He's actually diving into the tower for a fair bit, but decides against it as Ake was giving him the good old right click from the Oracle. So that'll be the end of any more engagement there in that top lane. Bulldog still taking damage in this bottom lane.
Yeah, the thing is, you get a first blood, you get 2 more kills after that, you're still up against 4 range heroes and a Drow. So if you don't keep on finding kills, things are going to be dicey, but it looks like they'll find another mod bringing down Moon in the top lane. As Crit goes on a journey, this Riki moving through the jungle. I think was hoping to find the courier. Not going to happen.
This is insane. Yeah, the amount of work EGM has done in this game. He's been involved in all 4 of those kills. Kill participation is at a premium right now for EGM, so that's pretty freaking nice, honestly, to have that kind of start. So really, like you said, you have to keep getting kills. They are doing just that, and right now, LD, I don't know what you need to do for OG. It's not like they're super far behind. They're still getting plenty of farm for their Dusa, and they have good mid to late game. But I feel like they need a lot more than that.
I think they're actually fine here. It looks really bad, but as long as they just stop the bleeding, give up kills, they are going to win these lanes. As Drought levels up, once you close in on level 6, basically by default, the lanes are yours. You start taking towers, you'll get a gold advantage from there. It looks really bad for OG, especially the way some of these heroes have died, but the Cloud comes out bottom.
He's got the, he just got ranked the time walk after walking out of that Ricky smoke screen. It was very close, and he'll still take a couple of points on his way out. Now the TP's coming through, No Tail is rather low in HP. The smoke screen comes in, AGM is the one to rotate. He will not be in mid or top to help out there, but no successful kills for Alliance in that, or excuse me, for either team at that point.
Yeah, not yet. The crit is sticking around. He may look to go back in while top lane. Moon trying to take advantage of the cooldown on Metamorphosis. In this matchup, whenever Metamorph is up, you're very likely in danger, if not dead. So once on cooldown, that's when you want to apply the pressure. Even with 4 kills and a first blood, Alliance are only leading by like 400 gold, 250 experience or so.
Yeah, and it's actually getting kind of...
It would be ugly if they weren't getting those kills, but it just goes to show you the nature of Drow when played with a lineup that can take advantage of it.
The CS advantage
will stabilize.
that OG have right now, the last hit advantage they have is actually kind of significant. And Loda is starting, he's up there obviously, but it's just the Medusa with 41 CS getting really good farm, and then even with the Death Miracle still has 17 last hits as well. So that's just like you said, it's just the Drow range with precision, or it's just that helps so much. Crit is going to body block S4 once he gets this top rune leap, and it's going to be picked up by the Mirana. That was a pretty sweet play. It's an Invis rune as well. I don't know. Crit should have seen the bottle, and he should have seen that it wasn't an Invis rune, but have to be careful the next couple of moments. As EGM is going to walk in mid. We'll see if they go for anything here.
Meanwhile, top lane Moon trying to steal this stack slash group of full creeps. Level 5 Batrider at 4 minutes in the off lane. Yeah, he died, but he is getting a lot of experience out of the lane. Yeah. And that's important because Riki really wants to devote his attention to the mid lane, bit to bottom to try and slow down the Void, but the key hero to keep on a good path is the Drow. And because this bat is having such a good time, Moon doesn't really need help. He doesn't need to go to the jungle, and he can keep pressure up on the Terrorblade, who is slipping behind as far as net worth goes by a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's still 21 CS right now, but Medusa continues to farm fine. No Tail is sitting up on 800 gold, is going to salve up. Precision Ore helping. 2 heroes mid for both sides. Crit nearby. S4 has an Invis rune. Arrow will come through. There's the smoke screen. Fairy fires and enough. The Invis is going to come out. They don't have the I don't believe they had a sentry for Crit. He will not place it down. I don't know if they would have gotten the kill, even if they did use it.
And back and forth through the laning stage here. OG just waiting on the Drow level 6, and then that's where the pressure will mount. The first tower likely to drop is this bottom tier 1. Not something Avoid is very good at counter pushing. Bulldog will time walk off the Mystic Stake, but already you can see the tower at half HP, and it's not a duo that pushes that hard. It's Medusa Witch Doctor.
Yeah. It'll take a little bit of time, but they'll get there.
That's Drow for you.
Or they could just rotate the Drow down at some point and push together as a team. I don't think they'll do that. We'll wait and see if he decides to rotate.
They can definitely move her. Especially if they're expecting a gank or some movement from Alliance, that's where Miracle will likely look to join the team.
Moon's gonna go top, but immediately Loda turns around and says, "I've got meta." He's gonna turn on Moon. Look at the flame break. Might burst him down.
He's gonna get down.
Will and Ake is now gonna get caught out. Maintain will keep him alive for now, but the sticky napalm stack will still stack up here. Ake getting taken down. Purifying flames. Moon is low, and he actually sticks up and he gets the kill. Ake turns around with a beautiful stick play, and level 3 Purifying flames is more than enough to nuke to get the kill. But they still lose Loda in the end, LD.
Oh, but Crit hunting him, stalking through the jungle, gets the ward down. He's already level 5 and change. You know, it used to be Ake would be the sacrificial support, but he's getting a lot more out of this dual lane setup than he normally does. It's actually EGM who's behind in the level department, as he's been focusing on the roaming early. For Moon, had the Terrorblade kill, could have walked away. I mean, I thought he had the kill as well, but just underestimated the Oracle's damage output as well as the stick.
Yeah, I should have maybe looked at the stick and even then, I don't think... Moon had a wand, I don't think he used it. Still, now Loda's in trouble again. Top of the smoke screen.
Bad.
Another sticky napalm, 2 stacks up. They have the cast even coming up the slide. It's more than enough, and Ricky secures the kill. Moon is now looking for revenge on Octane, starting at the 160.
Come over here.
Yeah, he's a little too far away, but Moon, I understand your frustration. You really wanted that kill.
That's the Riki effect. Gets the lane ward up behind the tower. He recognizes there's no Oracle there, and then they go. But mid lane Miracle caught out as the Drow and will fall. That's an equally big, if not bigger, kill.
Did they get the tower bottom lane? They used a Chronosphere by Bulldog, so the tower was taken down by the Radiant, so it looked Bulldog was going for the deny and didn't quite get it.
I imagine that was the case, because he's relatively healthy here.
Yeah. There's no reason for him to solo Chrono on a Medusa. That's just unless he was dying. But even then, it looks like it was just a failed deny, and that's Chronosphere down. First Chrono of the day, game now down for 102
seconds. Loda.
Not again.
In trouble. There is no lasso, but he's going to hunt him out. He has the flame break, the blink forward. No mana for a smoke screen, but they still have him. He's got no Sunder. It's a Loda feast up top. How do Alliance adapt at this point? This clearly is not working.
They can swap the lanes around, but I'm not sure that's really the answer. The thing is, they're getting kills on Miracle, but it doesn't matter because he's finding tower pickoffs and he still has good CS. So, and he's actually second in net worth right now. Miracle's died twice, and he's still fine.
Drow to me is like a bit like Dragonite, where she kind of wins her lane when she hits on the 6 simply by existing.
He comes out from no-shell mid lane, and S4 and EGM are now both stoned up.
That cast.
The cast will bounce through like crazy, and S4 and EGM still, there's not enough damage. Great fortune 10 on the 2. Fly's gonna use Buddha Restoration, and actually split up the no-tail. Here comes the Mystic Snake, will do some nice work, but actually blocked by Zeus Raindrop on one of those heroes, which is the Ogre. So even
OG, like, it feels like they're very impulsive right now. Like Moon sees, he gets the first kill, he sees an Oracle and is always like, okay, I can definitely get this kill. Doesn't stop to do the mid lane. They see the 2 here cast bouncing, but there was no mana on the Riki. Crit was gonna have to TP home. No mana on Moon. He was gonna have to walk home and buy his items, and they'd already committed Stone Gaze. Drow Ranger out of the picture. Like that was just the time to back away, but OG maybe a little discombobulated from that very back and forth LGD series earlier. It's not quite as calm, the shot calling, that as what we're accustomed to seeing.
I think they're overestimating some of their damage, realizing that if they don't have Miracle there, it might be kind of tricky. Crit is following S4. Smoke screen might go. Ward's going to be placed behind the tower again, and S4 is looking for a potential arrow target.
Crit is looking for a potential S4 kill.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance. Smoke screen play is still going to run him over and get the last two teams coming in. But it's not going to be enough. No, they have the fortune dead in time. The Gus is there. Octane will give his life up to kill, or at least
they're going to lose a lot here. This is bad for Alliance. They get the perfect Chrono. Even with it, they still lose 2, and they're going to lose the tower. And with the Chrono down and only a Bat Rider picked off for it, OG can start looking for tier 2s relatively soon.
That's just...
Chrono is a long cooldown at level 1. This is over 2 minutes. Still about 2 minutes even now before it'll be ready.
Even with the false promise, it wasn't enough. S4 was like stuck in place for the longest time.
It was a great false promise. It was just too late. Like he was already taking incredible amounts of damage from the Firefly. And at that point, the other thing was they TP'd like on top of the smoke screen. So for a split second there, they were having trouble even getting involved in the fight after the TPs.
So Miracle, all things considered, despite those 2 deaths that we keep talking about, he's doing very well. Aquila, Wraith Band, and Power Treads. But Crit is looking and hunting for Bulldog. They have that ward there again. These wards are really
look
helpful.
At the vision OG had. This is absurd. They see everything right now.
They don't even need that ward top anymore that was placed behind the tower, but arrow's going to come through. S4 will not be able to hit it, and Bulldog's able to back away, seeing that Moon is nearby. Moon with, of course, the drum build that he's used to going. No blink yet this game. He'll get it a bit later, and he's kind of far away, but they are just going in. They still have a drum charge to use if they want it. There's a leak up on Mirana, so they can't quite find her. They'll be able to back away.
Oh, Miracle, so confident in the mid lane, which is Alliance. Just look at that, you're like, surely this Drow Ranger has her entire team near her, but OG, they push Alliance back in the mid lane, and then they all converge on the top lane. They're going to collapse on the tower, look for the tier 2. This will be claimed freely, and for Alliance, there is no trade, only chip damage on the tier 1 bottom. This is why Drow Ranger is so scary when executed even reasonably well, that you take towers, you don't give up trades, and then you just walk into the mid game with like a 5-10k gold advantage.
Yep.
Very difficult to win from there for Alliance. They're going to have to rely heavily on the Chrono and just choose their timings very wisely.
Well, that's the thing, and you talked about it with Chronosphere being down for that long cooldown, so they can't do anything. And even with the Chronosphere, it's just they still have to deal with a lot of damage potentially coming out, especially with the Dragonlance stuff. Miracle can pretty much outrange the Chrono if he's not caught in it, and then he can just kill Bulldog and make sure he gets out of the Chrono and stops attacking his teammates.
You know, the other thing that's really scary about Drow Riki as a duo is generally with Drow you get ahead in towers, so your supports have more gold. But against Riki, you have to have detection. So it's this huge support tax on very poor supports. So they become like just walking creeps to a large extent unless their positioning is absolutely perfect. Like you can see Aki right now, boots one and wards. That's it.
1,200 net worth, and then the Ogre's not much better with 2,000.
Meanwhile, already Arcane's up on the Witch Doctor, the Riki up to 3k net worth with an Urn and 800 banked. So potentially Crit gonna get that first utility item for the squad soon. It creates a real bad dynamic for Alliance, but for Alliance, great late game potential. Obviously, they have 3 scaling cores. They have the Chrono into the quadruple Starfall combo. If S4 can hit the right arrow and Starstorm timing, they definitely scale well. It's more, will they have the time to do it? Right now, I feel like OG is in total control of the map, of the farm game. They can look towards Roshan soon because they have Drow, they have Batrider to get map control around the pit, and they've taken those outer towers that Alliance are going to normally hinge their defensive Roach on. So despite how bad the laning stage looked, always from the beginning, and we saw it even early in the gold draft, this was going to be OG's game to lose, as long as they just didn't get completely stomped in the lanes, which I don't think 4 kills is getting completely stomped, given the matchup. And now Alliance need good chronos, they have to be very patient.
Just came down to the fact that the Ogre, I think, came up and he killed Moon once, but then they left the dual lane top alone, and that just wasn't enough. Like, if Moon is getting solo kills like that, you know, that's probably an issue, and you need to have your Ogre maybe situated more towards the top lane. Yeah, he killed the Drow twice, but is it worth it in that situation if Loda's not getting farmed?
Yeah.
S4 was really the only one in this game that has been getting at least any good net worth. I mean, right now, Loda has caught back up at 4,000 himself, but it's still a situation where if you're losing him to a solo kill, which is the most important thing, that is a problem.
And they killed Loda, what was it, 2, 3 times?
They killed him once solo, and they killed him twice more with the rest of the heroes rotating up there, including, I think, Miracle at the last gank.
When you kill Terrorblade, not only are you getting a kill on their carry, but you're protecting your off-lane tower, which is desperately needed income for a poor Alliance squad. So
and it's barely
it has a double-pronged effect.
The tier 1 off-lane, which is a tower that is so used
that
to
tower's
down.
That tower's dead like 80% of the time.
Especially against Terrorblade. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That tower should be dead right now.
I'm no Nahaz. I'm pulling that number out of my rear, but I'm pretty sure it's well over 50%.
I trust your stats. Your stats right now sound completely fine in this game, but we are waiting on, I think, an audio issue. You're welcome. I'm here just to help.
Well, I just stroked Mont's arm.
Yeah, we're having a good time today, honestly. OG versus
You're
Alliance.
just like, I'm not gonna discuss this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, guys. We're here, and I mean, there's not much else to talk about right now because it just seems that OG has this advantage, and they're just going to continue to pressure and push it until they get these outer towers. They're going to do what they do with the draw strat. You're going to push down towers, and you're going to go and have a good time. So.
Yeah, the other, like, so looking a bit deeper at the matchup, you have Dusa, who's generally great against illusions. You also have just heavy burst and physical damage, as well as multiple long duration silences with the Cloud and the Drow silence. So I worry a little bit about Terrorblade being able to A, have an impact even with farm, and B, get the Sunder off. Sure, you have Oracle, but we saw like if you're really that low in the fights, you run in to commit and then they just drop a silence on you. You don't get Sunder off. Or they've already used one, they drop the second, or they lasso you after that. So Oracle has a lot of work to do this game, and I think A, you need good chronos, but B, Ake has to play like absolutely flawless with no net worth when the enemy sports have already double or triple that.
I think it's doable. I think with a Terrorblade and he gets
it's gonna have to be a standout performance from
If he gets his Dragonlance, which he's gonna have within, he actually has enough money now. If he gets his Dragonlance, he's level 4 Metamorphosis. So his damage is there, and with illusions, he can take down some of these squishier heroes. And as for with his Starstorm, which is also level 4, they have the damage to at least win these team fights with a good Chronosphere. It's just that's what it requires. Bulldog requires a good Chronosphere. They, like you talked about, Ake needs to be very solid on his defensive positioning and making sure Loda stays alive, and everyone else for that matter. But what's going to happen is OG might slow down. They might get Moon his Blink Dagger. It looks like that's not the case, though. They're just going to push him. They're going to take the second to last outer tower in this tier 2.
Slow down. This is the Drow lineup. OG says there is no break.
No slowing down here.
There are no breaks, I should say. But yeah, they move in bottom lane. They will look for tier 2. They want to take this tower, ideally the tower mid, and then it's into Roche if they don't just go Roche immediately after this. And for Alliance, I think right now, even if they hit a perfect chrono, it's still going to be extremely difficult to take a fight. They don't have Mirana Ags. Terrorblade just got his Dragon Lance, I guess, so that's slightly encouraging, but Crit is ready for this one. He gets the cloud off on the Bulldog, says he gets the hell away, then pops the ultimate, dips into safety, and he blinks out.
Wow, he is
Crit
not going to die.
completely shuts down the Alliance gang, but they're still going to chase.
Good touch, and now the Bulldog. False Promise will come through, but there's the Death Ward coming in as well. Loda going to work on a move, but not enough still. No tail going to damage on Bulldog as well. He just gets blown up after the False Promise. Loda with no Sunder is about to call a Miracle, who just continues to blink away with the right click. They're going to chase up for EGM. They don't have any more flows available, but that is just...
I'm really surprised they continue chasing after Crit scouted everything out. He got the cloud off, he then used the tricks of the trade to further delay them. Now they hunt S4. Looks like they're just gonna rotate to the Roche pit.
The double damage rune do it even faster for Miracle, and I don't...
It was already, to me, gonna be a very difficult gank, but once OG clearly saw what was coming, it was like nigh impossible. Then on top of that, they execute well. The Gust right as Bulldog jumps in, into a lasso. They purge it off, sure, but it's a false promise used on a void that just basically runs around. Still though, Mott, they have Chrono up, Roche is low, can they fight?
They get the ace time, though, great Chrono here. Crit still low, this Starstorm, it's enough damage to him. Take down one, the Gust will come through, fly, up and ready, he's got the Buddha Restoration and his wand. Meanwhile, Bulldog able to get out in time, not enough damage from Miracle at the very least. He's looking to turn around, look to Ake, and look at that damage from the double damage rune. No uphill miss there, and Miracle continues to run and try to find more.
350 damage with that GD. Oh boy, that was like Miracle was just gifted a rapier to start the game. And all of a sudden, OG, 4-man Chrono, they don't have the follow-up damage. No Ags on the Mirana. Terrorblade not relevant when Metamorph is on cooldown. And OG just punishing them, steamrolling towards a very early lane of Rapture. This is the last counter tower bot. They're going to kill off EGM.
Deathward comes through into Fire Blast. He's just trying to do anything he can, but the only thing he can do is eventually die.
See Loda as well with Cloud like Crit. Can they get more?
The Gust on to 2 now. Bulldog again still in trouble. Can he get out in time? Another great cast coming out from Fly, the Witch Doctor. There's the trick of the trade. Bulldog trying to keep him home. He will.
Loda has Thunder and ain't gonna use it. Oh, Alliance just getting pummeled by OG. This is getting ugly.
They at least keep Bulldog alive with the full promise to be able to TP to the well and actually had some deals going his way, I think, with Purifying Flames. But I mean, it's...
When your silver lining is at least he was able to TP to the well.
At least he lives. If that's your silver lining, then you need to...
They don't have Chrono for 40 seconds. OG playing these cooldowns well. Eat for pickoffs, Moon with the blink in. The zoning jump for now.
Bulldog still with no Chrono for 30, and Moon is just fire flying, sticking napalming, and Miracle's like, I've got a Dragon Lance, we've got plenty of damage, and we're going to work on the tower. I mean, we don't even know what really No-Tail's doing. He's only got a first appearance in Yasha, but that seems like it's done at this point. Moonlight Shadow's gonna go, and we'll see if they can find that Chrono with number 13.
OG showing Alliance what many teams learned the hard way at Summit and Star Ladder. You don't give Drow away without a plan. So far, the plan yet to emerge on the showcase. Bulldog being forced back. Loda will get caught, will die again. 6 deaths on the Terrorblade, yet to claim a kill, and Miracle looking for the punish onto Ake, finds him too. Now they blink forward for EGM, they've got the lasso as well.
Bulldog forced to use the Chrono for this Sun Moon. However, they get the kill with a nice multi cast rock coming out from the EGM, and Miracle's still getting a bit too deep. He does have the Aegis, but please be careful. Bulldog is going to get bounced again to Deathward. See you later. And it got done to S4 as well. 2 or 3 more right clicks should do it, and that... Yeah,
Alliance are getting farmed inside their own base.
I mean,
this is over, and Alliance know it. They call the GG.
That's just Ranger.
If you're gonna play against the Drought, you gotta have a plan. We've seen teams beat it, but it's still difficult, and what Alliance tried to play, they got first blood, 3 more kills after that. Like, if you can't win against Drown from that point, and I don't think they made any horrible mistakes until the game was already out of reach anyway, Ref just wasn't able to beat the Drown.
I agree. Like they could have. The only thing they really could have done for me is they send the Ogre Magi top, but I'm not even sure if that does anything. It secures Terrablade's farm a bit more, but even that just doesn't seem to be that drastic of a change there.
You have to pick stronger lanes. You really have to either contest the drought or completely shut down everyone else. They were running a very greedy draft here. Terrorblade, Mirana both need a lot. Mirana needs Ags to be irrelevant here in the mid game. Terrorblade just needs farm in general. Void needs a lot of time and has long cooldowns. Drought Ranger lineups play around no cooldowns, basically. They're always pushing. They're always fighting. So a great performance here. A great showing by OG in game 1, but it is a 2-game series. Alliance will have a chance to bounce back. Win OG are now 2-1. Alliance, after their 2-0 over TNC, also still 2-1. And so with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and hop over to Stream 4, where Escape Gaming is duking it out with LGD.